Greetings YouTube. Today we're looking at the Silky BIGBOY folding saw. I picked this up because Lars from Survival Russia spoke so highly of the Silky brand. Now this is the 14.5-inch model. It comes in a 7.5, a 10, and I believe a 30, all in the folding variety, and they're both available in black and this bright kind of a reddish orange. And I picked this because if you're going to be doing bushcraft, this is really the color you want. You don't want something you can drop and not see. You want something that's highly visible. Not to mention it can be used as a means of signaling people. Also, there's a very large lanyard hole, and I just realized that would make an effective bearing block if you were going to do a bow-style fire starter. Now, some of the features about this is it has a wonderfully positive lock. It's very secure. This is the pivot, which can be removed. The blade can be replaced. Locking is just flip and you're done. Now, because the blade is flexible, you have to make sure you get it in the groove. But that's not much of a problem in my opinion. Now, the nice thing about this blade is that the spine is about 20 thousandths thinner than the teeth, where the cutting is done. And what the advantage that does is that as you're cutting with the teeth, it gives somewhere for the chips to go. The sawdust has somewhere to go, so it's less likely to bind. You see that also in Swiss Army knives that have a saw blade on them. Very aggressive blade on this, which is quite nice. Lars speaks of it highly. I have not tried this. You're going to see me use it for the first time on this in this video. This is not a cheap saw. It was like $62 off of Amazon, but it's really well made. It feels really good. The quality and the lock on this is, again, very, very solid. So next up, you're going to see me doing some cutting. Okay, you'll note that I've taken off all the smaller bits here with a pair of loppers. You obviously could do that with a saw, but I didn't see any reason. It's pretty boring. So this is the first time I'm going to try cutting with this. That does give you a nice cut, and the only downside was that there was some vibration because of the fact that this is thin, and it is also very, very dry. So let's try come in here and see what happens. And making sure that when I release the branch, I'm not going to hit my my camera woman. There we go. So very nice. Ooh, I like this. It works well. One more. I want them reasonably length because in theory we're going to use these in a fire pit
that we bought 2 years ago and never set up.
So there you go. Gives a really nice cut, clean, easy to use. Get the chips out of your blade. I'm really quite impressed with this. Alright, I'm going to now go about cutting this thing into bits about this long. You don't need to watch that. It's going to be boring and tiring. But I'll show you what we have when we're done. Alright, that took me probably a little less than an hour to accomplish. I didn't time it. And part of that is, I'll use a term my wife just introduced me to, is because I'm deconditioned. I'm not in great shape. But this worked really well. And a couple of things I did notice while using it, that because this is a very aggressive tooth, oh no, I apologize about the flashing, my wife pointed that out to me, I didn't mean to. Because this is a very aggressive tooth, even when I was working close to the ground, and I did ground plant this a few times, and I only had like 3 or 4 inches to work with, it was still able to take on those smaller branches without any difficulty. So that was nice to know that if you have to do some close-in work, this is going to do it in a timely manner. And when using it on the heavier sections of the branch, I found that the best method was to have my right hand back here and my left hand here just below, just past the lock. So I was pulling this way and then going in, and I was pushing down, making the saw like this. So I'm exerting pressure this way and that way at the same time. And that really seemed to give me the most effective cut I could have. And this produces a really remarkably clean cut. And I have to say that at no point was I ever in danger of harming myself with this. The biggest danger I had was the fact that some of these logs fell off from because I was cutting either there or I wedged them in the tree over there. But I'm wearing steel-toed boots, so I was not in any danger. And if you were in the field, the biggest danger you got is that you might break a toe, which is completely doable as opposed to, say, swinging an axe and cutting off your ankle. Axes are dangerous, and your average person should be using one of these and not an axe in the field. Yes, an axe has certain advantages, but pound for pound, I think this is faster, safer, and far more efficient because you're making a kerf the width of the blade as opposed to a really big Y, or rather V rather, to get the same amount of wood cut up. The less is ending up as chips, more is going to end up in your fire. And I just find that this is going to be a whole lot easier for your average person to use. And like I said, pound for pound, I think it's safer. And some people are like, well, you can use an axe for, you know, pounding steaks and stuff. Yeah, so could you use one of these branches. Just make yourself a hammer. It works really well. Or, you know, grab a rock. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the Silky Big Boy. Lars is correct. Silky makes an excellent product, and I'm really happy that I've got one in my collection. Thanks. All right, stack up this crap in the corner for you.